The BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios. With over 750,000 views in 2022, we are where you need to advertise. Please subscribe to our Worthy Road Studios YouTube channel and join the other 4,000 subscribers watching local sports.
The Jackson Rockabillys, Union and Bethel Universities, USJ, TCA, JCS, and Peabody.
Our multi-camera broadcasts include slow motion instant replay, on-screen scoreboard and graphics, and professional announcers.
Thanks to the sponsors who make it all possible. BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios, the premier sports broadcast network in West Tennessee.
Live from Hub City Deli, it's the Jackson Christian Eagle Show, the show that every politician in America wants to be on, but only special people can be here. The family of Jackson Christian School is on it. I've got two of the most exciting young men as far as their work, their coaching, their teaching, and they are here in front of me. Darby Palmer, head coach Brian Bullard, who Brian may do everything. He and Chuck Ray are running a contest to see who does the most. Boy, my grammar. The English teachers will be after me, and we'll find out and reveal which one does more things, Chuck or Brian. But, Brian, glad to have you and Darby, and I'm going to turn it over to you, astute gentlemen.
Coach, thank you for having us, and we're thankful to be here at Hub City again. We're having this show, so that means that we won a playoff game. And we'll continue to do this as long as we earn 48 minutes, and that's what the message is. And Coach Palmer, let's talk about last week. Let's talk about Ezo Harding. We're going into it not with a new game plan, but a different one that was worked during the week, and talk about that game plan offensively and what we saw from our guys that really contributed.
Well, game plan going in is knowing that we got to lean on the strength of our team, which is our defense, and they did a great job as a unit going out there and executing what Coach Phillips' game plan was, taking away the tendencies and the things that Ezel wanted to do. And then our offense, we had to find rhythm for a little bit and just execute. And we struggled a little bit early on, but then we were able to find our groove later in the game, and so that was great to see.
So I would imagine that when Deuce Lawrence runs for 100 yards, the Eagles probably come out with a win. And Deuce had 21 carries, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Talk about the the importance of the run game, which even with Jalen, we want to run the football. So talk about the importance of the run game even more so now.
Well, Deuce is really coming on to his own, and only being a sophomore, he's learned a lot in the first half of the season. So really now he's playing more like a steady junior for us, and he's doing a great job seeing the holes, cutting, being very decisive. That's what I think we enjoyed seeing most as a coaching staff watching film is him being decisive. When he sees a hole, he's cutting it and getting upfield, and so that was great to see.
So a guy that we know very capable, but we'll get more touches, we'll get more targets. Jack Collins, 4 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. And Jack is a guy with plenty of ability, and he embraces that. So talk about Jack's performance, and maybe that gives him some confidence, and our offense gives Austin confidence moving forward.
Well, Jack is also a guy that we have at a position that can take the top off of the defense, and he's been doing that for us all year. And we feel like now more than ever, him having that threat, that home run threat over the top, we're going to take advantage of it. So
Trent, touchdown reception, and a really athletic play there on a pick six, momentum play for us. 2 seniors stepping up. With Daniel had a couple catches. Talk about kind of the conversations and what that was like with Jack, Daniel, Trent, Eli. We talked a little bit about that last week after a loss, how to bounce back. But what was the message to those guys and how they stepped up and performed Friday night?
Well, the message wasn't really motivational at all. It was just relax and do your job, because those 3 guys that you mentioned are very capable any night of taking over a football game. And so they just need to go out there and own the moment, make the most of the opportunity that they're in, and they were able to do that.
So, Coach, I'm going to talk a little defense. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Absolutely.
Defensively, 92 total yards of offense, negative 15 yards rushing. In our defense, you mentioned it earlier, those guys up front in the box kind of took away the run. And so they had to go to their passing game more, which is not what they want to do. They want to run first. But 92 total yards, doesn't matter who you're playing. That's pretty stellar numbers, and I want you to talk about those guys and what that defensive effort helped us do.
Yeah, it goes back to focus. And anytime that you hold somebody to 92 total yards and then negative 15 yards rushing, that's focus. That's locked in on your job each and every play, no matter what's going on around you, the circumstances. And they were able to do that. Our down three and even the second wave of guys that we can bring in, they can play at a high level. And they did a great job fitting their gaps with it, getting off blocks and making plays. And then our linebackers, that whole front has been the strength of our defense really all year. And then our back half came to play.
Coach, I'm going to stay with the defense for a minute. Your front three, again, did the job. Cedric is amazing me. I may put him in sprints or something on the track team. He's up and down that line, and you're not going to outrun Caleb Newsome and, of course, Gavin. What a job. What a job he does. And sometimes you don't notice Gavin. He's tall and a little lanky, but he's actually heavier than people think. And they put the pressure on that young quarterback. I know he was a junior for them, but I felt sorry for the young man. He didn't have a chance to really throw the ball.
Yeah, they did a great job getting off their blocks. And you mentioned Gavin. Caleb and Sed get a lot of attention, but Gavin also, too, does an outstanding job. Really, his relentless pursuit of the football, he makes a lot of plays on the opposite side of the field, and that's impressive. Chasing down those runs, chasing down a quarterback that's already rolled out of the pocket. He's getting off a block, and then he has a high motor of getting to the football.
And he also sheds blocks, and Gavin is getting better. Keeping that outside arm free, that's so important so that you can control the play. Now, if they get you inside arm or your outside arm tucked on you, then they can get outside and skirt you. Offensive line, and we did start slow. What was it, 4 possessions before we moved it, but we looked like we needed one piston tuned up or something here and there. The same piston didn't fire. And then the offensive line, when they do come alive, our pulling guards, the 2 tackles have to block. And because we've seen Austin roll out away from the right tackle, and he's still got to get a good block. He can't just chip the guy. He's got to get a good block. And, of course, Tristan has to, anytime we drop straight back or throw that. And I thought the line got better as the game went on.
They did, and I think our whole offense as a unit got better as the game went on. And we were just one block or one rep away from really springing something in those first 4 or 3 possessions. So we see that on film. We've corrected it, and we're having a great week of practice, and we're proud of our guys, and we know that they can go to Columbia and execute.
Absolutely. Now, before we take our first break, and we still got a couple of minutes, you can mention Columbia and talk about them a little bit. We'll talk about them some at the end, but I just want you to give an overall blanket statement of everybody contributed the other night, including the guys that ran scout team, red hat team, whatever you want to call it. And it was, again, a team victory for your 50th win.
Absolutely. It's always a team victory, and we talk about that, how we're all in this together. We only are successful because of what our scout team guys and they do throughout the week. They have a job each and every day, and that's getting whichever unit of the ball better that they can. Guys like Hudson Little, he actually broke it down at practice today. Man, he's giving his all in practice. Aiden Bird running those routes. And then you have just our scout team line that gets every rep, and then Neelan and Jackson Sharp and those guys that get all the reps for the defensive line. They do a great job, but they're also getting themselves better for years to come. And when you can go up against all region players in practice each and every day, you have no choice but to get better.
Got to ask you this one, then I will give you your final statement. To me, the 10 most inspiring words is, if it is to be, it is up to me. And to me, that encompasses everybody owning their 111th. Your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Football is a simple game. It comes down to blocking, tackling, just executing. And it takes everybody focused on the mission, what we're doing, and owning their 111th of the field, and not trying to do anything outside of what they're trained to do and what they need to do, but just focusing on their job.
Anything you want to say about Saturday night's game? I'm ready to play college football and high school. Friday night, the trip to Columbia. I lived there for a while, and so it'll be interesting, but I believe in the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. We want as many people to come out as possible, just to support our guys in the year that they're having. We're excited about the game. We're excited about the opportunity to play quarterfinal football. It's a blessing to be there, and it's a blessing to be in this moment. And now it's time to just go own the moment come Friday.
Absolutely. I'm grateful for it. Looking forward to a great game. This is the infamous, Brian and I will talk about this, the lightning and rain game from last year. But we took care of business when they came for the playoffs. And it's a good time to be an Eagle fans out there. And Kyle's looking at them too, or Kyle Teichman's watching along with a lot of other people. Brian, we got a ton of folks watching already right now. And you know that this show has never had less than 695 people, and we've been over 1,000 a couple of times. And we appreciate everybody. And I know you guys do too.
That's on Coach Palmer. They want to see him.
Well, I know this man with the plan, the star right here.
That is not it.
Now, the two stars are actually over there. I got a buddy. He and I have to high-five and all that. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we've not only had the head man, but we are going to have an all-star coach on here in a moment, a guy that I get all excited about. And like I said, we may even learn who does more things at Jackson Christian, Coach Bullard or Coach Ray. Let's take that time out here on the Hub City Show.
Psst, buddy, I'm not feeling too good after all this summer heat.
Yeah, me either. I think I'm about to blow a coil.
Let McCoy's Heating and Air give your unit a little TLC. Maintenance is the key to staying worry-free. Right now, schedule a one-time cleaning for only $90. Call 731-668-7492 or visit airmccoy.com.
McCoy's got us in great shape, unlike that guy.
Jackson's most trusted team of technicians. York and McCoy's Heating and Air.
Told you all the politicians wanted to be on the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. We have things better than politicians right here. We've got Eagle coaches, players, fans, and everything. And a man that he makes one of the best hamburgers in town. Anyway, I'm betting on him if we had a contest with all the other schools in Jackson. But Coach Chuck Ray, and I'm going to turn it over. Coach Bullard's going to lead it off, and we're going to talk some football, hamburgers, and everything else.
There you go. Right. Thanks, Coach. Coach Ray, thanks for being with us tonight. We're going to talk about a number of things and a number of teams that you're involved with and all of that stuff. But first, a couple weeks ago, we talked to Coach White a little bit about the middle school season, and he teased a little bit. And so I want you to talk about those guys, how we started, kind of progressed, and how we finished the season.
Well, we started out we didn't get a scrimmage. So first game of the season was the first time we'd really faced a full team with only 15 or 16 guys. It's tough to scrimmage and practice and everything. So started the season out on a rocky start. We grew. We made some changes. Coach Lumley is one of the best line coaches there is around, and he saw some things, tweaked a few things. We grew as we went along, and then we finished up on a 3-game winning streak, finished with a winning record of 4-3, and prepared some of those guys for to come to high school. And
so following that team, number of injuries, numbers were low to start with, guys playing in cast and different things. Talk about the message that you and Coach White and Coach Lumley tried to keep preaching to them every week, because that would have been easy to get discouraged. But we're not playing guys that can't play. We're playing teams with the big linemen up front, speed, all those things. What was the message to continue to try to build towards our finish there?
The message was just keep it on. We like I said, we played some public schools that were a lot bigger than us, and as a matter of fact, down the line we beat 2 really good middle schools to finish up the season, West Carroll and West Bemis, that outweighed us. If you look at them coming off the bus, we were beat. But our guys believe, they have heart. We finished the season with 14 guys, and one of those was a cast on his arm. So they bought into what we were trying to teach them, and it ended up being a great year. These guys never quit.
So the guys selected to the All-Star game, I want you to tell folks that are listening who they were, and then kind of give your experience from the All-Star game, being a coach, being out there for practices in the game that was last Saturday.
Right. Well, first of all, we had Cade Warrington. He was a quarterback and kicker for the All-Star team. We had Lauren Michael Short, who played safety. Sawyer Dean played offensive guard. And then Jeremiah Jenkins, he played offensive tackle, and then a linebacker. And all four of our guys, this may sound biased, but all four of our guys were there to play, and all four of them played multiple minutes. As a matter of fact, down the stretch, the idea was to have your best in there, and those four didn't come off the field. Cade kicked the ball extremely well, started them off deep. Jeremiah running behind him, and then he ended up having 3 sacks. Sawyer, because of the coaching of Coach Lumley, was far above any other lineman we had there. And then Lauren Michael actually played safety and had the game-saving tackle. He made a huge tackle at the 1, which preserved our win. We won 14-8. It was a great experience. Loved being with those 4 guys and just getting to coach some more football. Seeing the best 8th graders around. We had all the Jackson middle schools plus South. We had Raymer, Bethel Springs, Chester County, and those teams. So
did the West Carroll young men come down there?
West Carroll, that was a different
okay.
All-Star
I
game.
wondered if that, because I knew they had been invited in some of the past
right.
games.
They played over in the Centennial
Bank
one, and we were the West Tennessee.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to butt in.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
I needed to know about that, and you got some more questions. I know that.
Yeah. So that kind of finished middle school football for us this past Saturday, and I believe our side came out with the win, and so those guys we're proud of them for being a part of that. Think something that's been going on for the last 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, is our Eagle Football League, and I want you to kind of break down what that is for folks that are listening and may not know what that looks like.
All right, be happy to. One of the best parts of my job is youth sports director, and Coach Palmer and I, when I got the job full-time at Jackson Christian, one of the jobs was we wanted to expand our youth sports program. We have the county league and all this, and we wanted to be able to maybe teach a little Jackson Christian-style football and also have those kids get to play with their classmates. It started out the first year, we had 8 teams that included us, our own teams, and then some from the Better Balance Sports Club, and that's all we had. This year, which the season wrapped up tonight, we had 14 teams. From Jackson Christian, USJ, the Augustin School, South Gibson, and then the Better Balance Sports Club played along with us. It's a kindergarten through 4th grade league, co-ed, all passing flag football league where it's no contact. The emphasis is on skill, catching, running, throwing, and then pulling flags, which help you going forward in any sport you want to play. Like I said, we were able to field a team kindergarten through 4th grade of just JCS kids, and then the other schools bought in where they kind of filled in where we were. It was a great time.
Coach, would you consider this for some of the fans? I just got a text, not on our line, but is this like a passing league or something like that the older boys do?
Well, it's a little bit like the 7-on-7. We do. Yeah. There are some run plays because a kindergarten throwing a football is sometimes tough, so they do run a lot. The emphasis on, though, everybody's eligible. Nobody doesn't get involved in the offense. So Coach Bullard is actually a coach of one of our second grade team, which was a phenomenal team. These kids are going to be fantastic athletes. I hope we can all keep them as Eagles. I'm going to brag on him. His team went 10-0. And the only undefeated team in the whole league, all the age groups.
But you know who the offensive coordinator is on that, though. That's the great offensive mind of Blake Beckham doing all that.
Who has a sandwich named for him
right
here?
We'll make his head a little bit bigger. Yeah. There we go.
I was going to let you bring up Blake. I was going to give you that. So.
There's a young man sitting over there. He's 6 years old, and I think next year he'll probably be in your league, and he just happens to have some kinship to Brother Carlos back there behind us. And it's open next year. If you want to play, you can play in that league.
Absolutely. We'll put the information out closer to time. The JCS kids are divided. They'll play with their grade. There's one team per grade. And then it's open to any schools that want to participate.
Chuck, how many things do you do at school? I'm with the two most hard-working men, and that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of people hard work, but these two guys are everywhere.
Well, let me start by saying everything that I do, it's an honor to do. I love Jackson Christian, and I feel like it's the place that God wants me to be. It took a long time to get here, but God answered some prayers, and I do teach 10th grade history, 7th grade Bible. I'm in charge of the concession stands, the youth sports. I coach middle school football and middle school baseball. And then these guys let me help out on Friday nights, fixing helmets, toting water. Basically, the main job is to keep Coach Palmer off the field.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with one thing. They don't let you. They want you there. They really do, and I will say that. Now, one of the things that's happened to Coach Ray is he is now known as Walker Ray's father. That happens to all of us. I was known as Megan's father instead of Coach Holloway, but say something about Walker, because he was one of our pride and joys here at Jackson Christian.
Well, Walker, like I said, was a 3-sport athlete at Jackson Christian. Went on to Bethel, played football, had an injury, and was best that he didn't go back right now. He's actually helping out at the school, working for our maintenance, and he actually helped a little bit with our quarterbacks middle school football this year. So
he can also teach you how, and I am having a little bit of mic trouble. We'll get that one fixed. It's your turn to say anything you want to the fans.
Well, just come on out, continue to support us. We are the guys are working hard and really feel like we can bring home a W and then make another semifinal run.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a timeout, and then we're going to start with our players. Coach Bullard and I will be back. Let's take that timeout, and we'll be back at Hub City Daily with the Jackson Eagle Show.
Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction. Located at 125B Old Hickory Boulevard, East in Jackson. We specialize in team sports for youth leagues, schools, and churches. We can embroider and screen print team uniforms. We also have sports equipment, Under Armour and Adidas clothing, and anything else you need for your team sports. You can email or call us for all your team sports needs. Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction.
Great show so far here at Hub City Deli. It is the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. Coach Palmer's been here, Coach Ray, and now we get to interview one of the really fine young men, a guy that can play more than one sport. He's got speed to burn. He feels better every time he gets out on that field. And I'm going to turn Elijah over to Coach Bullard. He's going to ask you some technical stuff, and we're going to ask some fun questions of you.
Elijah, thank you for being with us tonight. Really good performance in your first game, kind of doing some wide receiver, running our end position. Elijah, talk about kind of your road over the last year with the injury, playing soccer, and kind of your rehab, trying to get back to yourself and feeling great there on the football field.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Coach Joe. I really appreciate you having me on the show today. My road to recovery is I actually learned a lot about myself. And whenever you kind of are stuck or you're not doing what you love, you tend to make some bad habits or make some bad choices. But I didn't really make that. I was always like, what can I do to get myself better and to come back and do what I love and able to do it at a high level. So it's really about determination, and you find out if you really want to do it, if it's something you really want to do and you're willing to put in that extra work, time, and effort, the therapy, the weightlifting, whatever it takes to get back on there, then you'll do it.
So the amount of work you put in, tremendous, to get back to try to help our team and to get to do something that you love doing. Talk about kind of how your role. You're our backup quarterback. You get a ton of reps in practice. You can run the offense, but we have an injury to Jay, and we look at you, and I think even Austin may have talked to you, and kind of what is your thought process trying to step up and help our team do whatever it takes to win a playoff game?
I don't look at it as if like it's too much. Like, I do what I can and I try and help out where I can. Job's not too big. I just need to be me. I need to be who I am. Don't try and do too much and give it all you got. So I really look at it as another opportunity. I mean, one door closes, another door opens, as it says in the Bible, and I truly believe that with all my heart. So I thank God every day for the opportunity just to even heal, because the doctor, they say a lot of things. You're not going to be able to do this. You might want to wait, hold it off, but really in reality it's all up to God. It's all up to God, and I really want to praise him for that. Awesome answer.
Elijah, playing receiver, and you have good hands. Is that something that you've done before? I know you line up on our field and run routes and do all that stuff, but what has that been like, kind of adjusting? You in practice, you'll get reps with the first group at M. You'll go to quarterback. Is that a big adjustment for you, or is it just, hey, if I get the ball in my hands, I'm going to do whatever I can to help us win and to succeed.
So I think that's just a part of being a playmaker. You know, wherever you're needed to help out the team at, or whatever you need to do to step up, you'll be able to do it. And like I said, if you love the game enough, you'll be willing to do it. So going from receiver, I've never played it before actually. So it's actually focusing on hand-eye coordination, running routes, being open, and playing quarterback. You understand the offense. So if you're smart playing quarterback, you understand the offense and defense. You'll be able to read, and you know where to be, and you know where the holes in the zone are going to be. So that just puts you in an even better position to excel. Knowing football, that's a big part of it. Just knowing the game.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your touchdown, Coach Joe, and then you can ask him some of the other stuff. You had a run there late in the game against Ezel. Take us through that play and what that looked like for you and being able to punch it in there to help us extend that lead.
Man, so previous, like maybe 2 plays before that, I made a pretty good play. I was a little gassed, but I was like, you know what, we got to score. We got to put this game away. We can't afford to give them any juice, and we need to just lock in and just score. Our offense was, you know, we started off a little slow, but I was patient with it, and whenever we called the play, I was like, I'm going to score it. So end up going to the outside. I'm following my guy, Ty, number 60, riding him all the way out, and then Deuce, excellent job blocking on the perimeter. Like, those guys are really, like, doing the work. And it's a team effort. You know, I was on the show last year, and I really stressed that and emphasized it, but that's what it is. It's a team effort.
Absolutely. So, Coach.
First of all, some great answers to the questions that Coach gave you. And, folks, he's absolutely right about when you play quarterback, you can read those holes. But let's get some fun stuff quick before time runs out on us. First of all, what other sports are you going to play this year?
I'm thinking I'm going to do track this year. I'm gonna really lay off maybe basketball and soccer this year, but I'm going to do track. You know, I'm fast. I like running. Running is fine with me. You know, so if my body allows and Lord willing, I'll be doing track this year.
What about your favorite football moment at Jackson Christian?
My favorite football moment really was whenever the Peabody game, I threw touchdown pass. I mean, that was my first career touchdown pass, and really just a moment of growth and signifying like that all you've been through. Don't forget the journey. You know, don't forget the path that you came on and what it took to get you to that point where you are now.
Absolutely. What about a favorite class and teacher at school? And it can be the coaches too.
My favorite class currently right now is art class. I feel like that's really a stress reliever. Miss Cece, a really stress reliever. You get to create and draw and really just relax before you get into the rest of your classes. Even though I do like all my classes, but right now Miss Cece's class is number 1.
Absolutely. What about a favorite food in the cafeteria? And I know you're a senior, you may not eat in the cafeteria every day. And a favorite food away from school?
Ooh, favorite food away from school. So I live near this place called Zhang Zhun. They're Chinese. Yes. They're a Chinese place. They're very good. Like, I remember one day we were looking for somebody to eat. I was like, this place looks pretty good. And that's been the spot since. My favorite meal at school, I like Crispitos. Crispitos, I think, is an all-time favorite. I like when we have chicken tenders too, though. And sometimes baked potato is number 1.
You probably eat it all, huh?
Yeah.
But there's not an ounce of fat on this young man. What about favorite Bible verse?
My favorite Bible verse is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and give you a future and not to hurt or harm you.
Folks, that is tremendous. Some hobbies of yours?
I like playing games. I like reading. I play the drums with my grandmother a lot. We have our bonding time. I really like playing the drums, making music. I really, I just toy around with things, really.
Absolutely. Fun fact, and then we'll give you a final statement.
Fun fact about me, I used to live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's where I came from. I used to live there. I grew up there. It's different. The South and the North is different, but I like it, man. I'm enjoying my time.
It is different, and we are glad. What do you want to say to Eagle fans?
Go Eagles. Let's beat Columbia.
Absolutely.
Great job.
And we're going to take a time out, and when we come back, we'll have more guests.
The best thing to order is when you are sitting at soccer practice, order it through your phone while you're sitting there, and then you go and pick it up.
But you're much more of a planner than me.
I am.
And that's what I love about you.
Yes.
I'm not that prepared. It's more seat in my pants.
Downtown is thriving, and the Blacksmith Restaurant is leading the pack. From the rustic dining room to the unmatched patio, eating local with family is what we're about. Live local, eat local, relax local.
Had an accident and in need of repairs? If you're being towed, make sure the driver knows where to take it. David White Body Shop to expedite the repair process. David White Body Shop has been in business over 42 years. They have factory-trained certified technicians, and they are a direct repair shop for most insurance companies. They make sure your vehicle is repaired to manufacturer's recommendations. Always insist on the professionals at David White Body Shop. More excitement at Hub City Deli, and folks, I apologize, I've got sinus trouble, and so did my mic have sinus trouble a while ago, but the guests are what's important, and another one of these fine young men, Hudson Neubauer, that I really have only gotten to know this year. Wished I'd had more time because he's an outstanding human being. His manners are impeccable. He's a good football player. I just want him when he crosses that white line to be a monster. But if you want to meet somebody with good manners, hustles, tries hard, right there he is, and Coach Bullard's going to open up the questioning.
Hudson, thank you for being with us tonight. I love to interview our offensive linemen because you don't have your own stats as far as, you know, offensive numbers and that sort of thing. But one thing I like to talk about for your part of an offensive line that's helped rush for over 1,500 yards, throw an awesome throw for over 2,500 yards and putting up really good offensive numbers. But the one thing I want to talk to you about first, talk about the bond of that offensive line and what it means to be a part of that group.
Yeah, I mean, we're just a family. I mean, if one player messes up, we always have his back, and he always has ours. We always might challenge each other, like me and Tej. Every game we challenge each other to see who gets the most pancakes. And then me and Ty always challenge each other who gets better kicks. And then we just build each other up as a family.
So, Hudson, you were a kid that came to us late and set out, I believe, until the last playoff game last year. Maybe it was the playoffs in general. But you were watching. You were on scout team. You were giving guys a good look. Talk about. We just talked to Elijah about his injury and kind of his journey through all of that. I want you to talk about your experience last year and how it prepared you for this year, jumping in as a full-time start on the offensive line, and kind of what that was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a struggle every game, just standing on the sidelines, not be able to play for my brothers and all. But I just enjoyed playing scout, helped making our team better, hopefully making it to state this year. So,
what is something you took from maybe an offensive lineman last year that you got to work with, got to do drills with, got to go up against? What's something that you took from one of those guys that you brought into this year, your senior year?
When I was on scout offense for Chilton, I just love his aggressive, and I just brought that over for this year. I loved Deloach's aggressiveness, going and he's seeking for blood. I just loved it.
And so two guys that weren't small guys, but a little bit undersized. And you're not a small guy, but you're a little bit undersized. So some of the defensive linemen that we go against, and one thing about those two guys is they would lay it on the line and not worry about their bodies. Is that something that you took from them? Because to me, watching you and watching our offensive linemen, we don't tiptoe around. We got guys that are getting after, trying to do anything they can to help our running backs and quarterback back there.
Yeah, I mean, even though if they're bigger than me, I don't take it like, oh my gosh, he's huge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get destroyed. No, I just lay my shoulder down, lay my helmet down to hit him.
Amen, Coach.
Got to ask you a couple of football questions before we get to the fun stuff. You're a guard. You get to pull, you get to fire out, you get to double down on people. Which one is your favorite block?
Pulling and kicking.
Pulling and kicking. I
Didn't
love
hesitate.
it. And, man, he is mean. I'm going to tell you what, he and Ty do a great job. Now, sometimes we can only pull one guard because, and again, it depends on what happens. But I've seen him come down that line, and I would hate to be a corner, especially when I was tiny and only weighed 155 pounds. And this young man, who's not the biggest guy in the world, but he hits you hard. He is strong. You enjoyed Coach Irv's weightlifting program, did you? Mm-hmm. He and I have talked a little bit about that. The Good Pasture game, I want to go back to that. You and Ty and the rest of the line, y'all pulled it together, didn't you? That
Yes,
was
sir.
fun coming back in that second half, wasn't it?
It was.
It really was. Still a couple of fun things. And I've already told you that Hudson hadn't been at Jackson Christian as long as I would have loved him to. Would have been a great place to have been for a long time, wouldn't it?
It would.
But he's here. We're glad he's here. Now, what about your favorite Jackson Christian football moment?
The lineman luau. It was my favorite.
A lot of people like that luau. You guys got to invite me to the thing next year. Y'all got me going now with that. And what about class? What class and teacher do you like?
This year I kind of like ag science. I mean, that's really where I have most of my friends in, and it's not a bad class.
And I know this young man likes food, and he's got a great answer, but I'm going to let him. You can lump school and away from school all together. Your thoughts on food?
I just like eating.
I knew it. He is a jewel on those type things. What about your favorite Bible verse?
Proverbs 12:24.
Oh, that's a great one to have. That is a great one we've had. And a lot of people like that one. Do you play any other sports?
No, I just stick to weightlifting.
Well, you just look like a guy that could do something else. Do you fly fish or fish at any at all or hunt?
I mean, all I do is either play football or go work at the airport.
Now, you got one hobby that is very interesting to me. What is that?
The belly roll.
Yeah. What about a fun fact? Well, that's your fun fact. Do you do any motocross?
Oh, yeah, I do.
How? That's terrible to ask somebody how good are they to make you evaluate you. Do you really enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I just kind of cut it back because I want to stay focused on football and not get injured. But probably after season, I'm going to get back on the bike.
Now, you can laugh at Coach Joe after the show is over. Anything from motocross transfer to helping you be a great offensive lineman like you are?
I mean, it gets my nerves shot out.
Well, I guess it does. That is great. Hudson, is there anything, and I know there's a lot of stuff going. This is a wonderful young man. If you get a chance to engage him, talk to him, wonderful guy.
Hudson, let me ask
Coach
him
got one more? That's fine. We got time for one more.
That's right. Coach, Hudson, talk about what this season has been like. We talked about the lead up from last season and wait until you were eligible to play. Talk about what this season has meant to you as a senior, as your last football the last football games you'll play. What has it been like to be a part of this team and a part of our program?
It feels like I have a family. I have more brothers who always have my back even when I'm down. I just love it.
So what's the plan for and this is something we haven't asked many of our seniors, what's the plan for after high school? What would you like to do job-wise, school-wise, and your plans for after school?
Right now, I don't know what college I'm going to. I'm undecided on that, but I would like to continue a career for football.
Okay.
Probably be a walk-on if I don't have any offers.
Well, you may get some offer. You never know who's looking at you, and it's a great thing. And wherever college you go to, they will be blessed to have you. And what do you want to say to the fans? It's your turn. You can say anything, and we got them all over the world.
All I'll say is for any athletes who are struggling, just go back to the Proverbs 12:24. Delicate hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced. Shoot, I don't remember that.
Oh, you told them a lot.
Forced work. All I say is this quote's always made it. You either start on one day or day one. That's all I'll say.
Absolutely. There he is. Be watching for him. You watch those guards pull, watch him and Ty. They like a fine machine pulling out, kicking defensive ends, cornerbacks, and people to kingdom come. Thank you for being with us. And we will be back. We're going to take one more 30-second timeout, see if Gary can cure my sinus problems on my board instead of mine. Let's take that timeout. Whether you're relocating into Jackson or just wanting something new and different, call Kenny Sutherland with 5-Star Real Estate Services. He can help make your dreams become a reality. With over 20 years experience and helping over 1,000 families with their new home purchases, there's a reason that he is your new construction expert and home buying specialist. Call Kenny today, direct at 731-444-1164 or 731-661-9000. We are back here at Hub City Deli, and we're on the Jackson Christian Eagle Show, and we've got a fine young man coming in here. He is just a sophomore, and we are very glad to have him. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Bull while Gary and I do a little engineering.
Carlos, thanks for being with us tonight. Your sophomore year. I want you to talk a little bit about what your role is, and we plug you in at corner, we plug you in at X receiver. You're on all our special teams. Talk a little bit about what your role is on our team and what you try to do every day to help us win.
Well, Coach, my role is to step up when the time is needed. I come in and fill in for the players when they get tired or, when they need just a break or if they mess up. I come in and just help and do all I can. I stay disciplined. I just follow my role that y'all give me and just stay on top of what we do in our game plan.
So, Carlos, just observing and watching you practice and what you're saying is absolutely true of how you do your job. I want you to talk a little bit about being behind two senior corners and being behind some older guys at receiver and the things that you are picking up from them.
Well, it shows me how to be a leader since they've been through all the years of high school playing football. It gives me a perspective on what I should do and what I should not do. It shows me how I can come up and fulfill their legacy, fill the shoes that they left behind for me.
Talk about your relationship with Jay, and I know a lot of it's joking around, but I know a lot of it is he's a guy that you look up to, and he tries to do. And the way it comes across, it's funny, but he really cares about you and wants to see you improve and get better as a football player. Talk a little bit about that relationship.
Well, both of us coming up playing football together for the Tennessee Diesels, a travel football team, we've grown close, and we split our ways when we both went to different schools. When he came here and I stayed on the Diesels, and then finally I came back and we introduced ourselves back together again. And, day to day he takes me to training sessions. He helps me do what I got to do. He helps me to stay on my pivot and just help me move forward. He talks me through the football game, football schemes, and just allows me to get better and just helps me.
Pretty good guy to look up to.
Yes, sir.
Who was your coach when you were playing with the Diesels?
Coach Chris. He was our all-around coach. We really didn't have certain coaches like we do now, but he was the coach that helped me the most growing up.
I didn't know if Coach Boyd was a part of that if Cam's dad was there when – so you and Jay played together on that, and how old were y'all when y'all did that?
I think 7 or 8, somewhere around there.
So talk about what brought you to Jackson Christian. Why did you want to come and be a part of our school and be a part of our football program?
Well, I just liked it. I thought it would be a new change coming from public school. Y'all really gave me the right introduction into a new life. And just being closer to God and the way y'all just put that on us, it shows me how to be a better man and a better player.
Coach?
Carlos, it is really a lot of fun. And let me tinker with this a little bit. Now I've got myself up. You can probably hear me. But what about a special moment either last year, this year, playing football at Jackson Christian?
Well, one of them is making it to the playoffs. Being able to play on a team that made it to the playoff 2 years in a row is a really big deal for me. And also this year beating USJ 41-0.
And this one's hard to phrase it because I feel like you have, you're one of the most improved people on the team. Of course, you were even smaller last year. But you're getting some major minutes now and contributing major. That's a lot of fun. Do you feel like you've improved that much?
Yes, sir. Just working hard, grinding, and getting closer to God all helped me, all helped me become a better player and allowed me to get more minutes. It's fun being on the field with them guys and fighting with them.
Absolutely. What about favorite class and teacher?
I would say my favorite teacher is Coach Ray. He's always there, always helping me out. And, of course, Coach Bull. Coach Bull is always there. He always helps me put a smile on my face. And my favorite class is math. It's a class I'm really good at.
Well, I was going to say, you look like a gentleman in on the field. You solve problems quickly. You analyze. Are you better at algebra or geometry?
I'll say algebra.
Algebra. Okay, well, that's great. And you do have to think quick there. What about food? We always ask you about school food. What do you like? And what do you like away from school?
Well, away from school, I like Chinese food. Elijah stole my answer. Jane John.
Well, that's okay. I've been there, too. I know exactly where that is.
It's a really good place. I really got introduced to it this year, but my first Chinese food place I went to was Number One Chinese. They're really good, too, off by Kroger.
Yeah, some great food there. What about other sports that you play? I know one of them, but I'm going to let you tell it. I think you could play another one besides that one, too.
Basketball. Basketball is a really fun sport to play.
Have you ever run track?
I did last year.
Okay, well, that's good. We may have to run track again. What about Coach Earl's weightlifting program? Isn't that fun? I'm jealous of you guys. I'd love to be part of it.
It's really fun. He really helps us become better men. He really always tells us life lessons, gives us stories, always have sit-downs with us. And, just him able to help us get bigger and give us the same teachings coaches gave him in the NFL was just really a nice experience.
Yes, and he was very good when he was at Lambeth, too. What about your hobbies? I know you've got some. One of them, the late Bob Knight, there's a picture floating around. I didn't put it on there on Facebook of Coach Knight and I. We weren't talking basketball. We were talking one of your hobbies.
Well, I like to fish. I like to play games. Me, my mom, and my dad moved into a new house this year, and it has a lake with a whole bunch of fish. So that's been a good pastime. So I would like to thank my dad and my mom for that.
Can I bring Nolan over?
Well,
yes, sir.
I was going to ask if you and I could come fish, too. Hey, if you invite us, we'll be there. What else do you like in the way of hobbies?
Well, I cut grass with my dad sometimes. It's really fun to do. It helps you take your mind off things, helps you think about life, and it's a really good way to make money and help him out.
Absolutely. What about a fun fact? What do we not know about Carlos? Besides he's a good football player, we know that.
What do I do?
What kind of music you like? That's always
hip-hop and classic R&B.
Okay. No heavy metal, huh? That's for old folks.
I can
now,
never get.
Well, we had somebody, and remember what was about 3 weeks ago, somebody came in and said they liked hip-hop. Now, something important, because you have emphasized to us one of the good things about coming to Jackson Christian is you enjoy the Christian atmosphere. What's your favorite Bible verse?
John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believed in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
Amen. And now, what do you want to accomplish over the next 2 years? And I'm going to tell you something. I want to see you playing college football after these next 2 years. We still got to finish this one, but you got a lot of time. What do you want to accomplish?
I just want to be able give the parents the same life they give me. I want them to be able to settle down and just lean and depend on me how I lean and depend on them every single day.
Absolutely. It's your turn to say anything you want to, and there are Jackson Christian fans, and I have just been informed on my other phone, our guy that lives in Kuala Lumpur outside the United States, but he's an American citizen. He is listening tonight.
I would like to thank all the teachers, all the fans who come out and support. I would like to thank my parents and all my brothers that I fight with on the field and in practice every single day.
Absolutely. A very fine young man. He may be number 4 in the program, but he is probably number 1 in a lot of people's hearts, especially his parents. Carlos, great job. Thank you, and Hudson and Elijah, all three, for being, and when you have good people like that, it's like Sister Sledge said, we are family.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let's take a time out,
Great
Brian.
job.
We'll come back and wrap it up.
This is Lee Johnson.
And this is Jason Lockridge from Southern Capital Advisors.
We're thankful for the Jackson Christian family and are honored to help lay a foundation that will build our community for years to come.
Welcome to Southern Capital Field, and go Eagles.
We are back to wrap this one up. We're in playoff football. You've heard some fine men, fine coaches here. Coach Bullard, we've got more than just football to talk about, but I'm going to let you start it off with some interesting things, and then we've got to deal with Columbia Academy.
Yes, sir. Chase added this for us tonight to talk about the theater doing the Lightning Thief show, November 9th, 10th, 11th, and then the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And if you need tickets, that you can go to our website for that. These cast members are working hard, and they're that's always something that we've done well since I've been here is our theater. So go out and support them and all the hours that they spend on that show. So we're excited about that at school.
That's not easy, Brian, because I've tried to act before in some school plays, and then we had the Kingsport Recreation Department when I was there. I played a guy like Kojak in a play, and I have a tremendous admiration.
Yeah, I've never had any experience with that. But, you mentioned it earlier. Congrats to Coach Palmer picking up his 50th win, a good milestone for him. And I didn't realize this, but we've won 16 straight games on Southern Capitol Field there at Ronnie Feller Stadium. So that is a tremendous streak for our guys. And it'd be nice to win this one and maybe get an upset in that other game and be back at home again next week. But we'll see how it all plays out. But Austin Kelly needs 39 passing yards to pass Matt Hudson for fifth all-time in the single-season passing yards. And then Jalen Mosley just this past week named the Tennessee Titans Mr. Football semifinalist. So hopefully he will be able to make that final and be able to kind of end his season individually on a positive note for him. He is back at school and doing well, so we're excited for that. But the task this week is Columbia Academy, and it's a tough one. They bring a lot of guys back from last year. The quarterback off of an injury, and he makes them. He gets them in the right play and executes at a high level. But what makes them go is the running back.
Yes.
And so, offensively, we'll continue to build on spreading the ball around, keeping the defense off balance and using our speed and using our weapons out of the backfield and all those things, and continue to kind of gel that plan together. And it's not completely new. But it does look different. And anytime you don't have a guy that can take the top off the defense like Jalen, you have to kind of adjust to that. And Coach Riker has done a tremendous job with that. And those guys, man, they're working hard to kind of step up in that role. And so I'm excited for another game to show off that offense and hopefully put some points on the board.
Absolutely, and we're familiar with these gentlemen. Most of them played against us last year. They got that huge, what's his name, Baker, the big lineman. He's pretty good. The running back, we saw what he could do last year. But our defense, have faith in it because we've played against some of the best running backs in this state.
Yeah, Coach Palmer, he touched on that early. We rely on our defense anyway, and I think we've talked about it on the show. Yes, we put up a lot of points, but the unsung kind of heroes and all of those things has been our defense and the numbers that they've been able to put up and stop some really good running backs. And this guy is no different. I mean, he's fast, he runs hard. He'll cut back, he'll bounce it outside. If there's a gap, he's going to find it. So we have to do a good job of being gap sound. Our front three have to fit their gap and force things to, funnel things back inside, but also our outside backers have to come up and run support. But one thing they do a lot better than they did last year is throw the football.
Yes.
They have some weapons on the edge, and I know them by numbers and names. We just watched the film, and number 2, number 1, number 8, those guys are really good in the open field. They're really good going to get the football deep. And kind of something that, we're going to have to make sure we keep in check is if we get in our pass rush lanes and let the quarterback outside. And he can run. He will run, but they're really good in the scramble drill. And so we've got to stick to our receivers. Our defensive line has to continue to pursue. And the play's not over till that guy's down or the whistle blows. And so it'll be a challenge. And anytime you're in the quarterfinals,
it should be a challenge.
It is, yeah, that's exactly right. And so we're excited. We going on the road to their place, played there last year, in a crazy all-night affair, and we only played one half, and then had to come back home. But they came to us in the playoffs, and we were able to get the win against them. And so the thing about Columbia Academy right now, I believe, is their confidence. They've had a great year. I think they've lost 3 games maybe. to some tough teams.
They came in 7-3,
yeah.
and they're well coached. They've got some good players, but you know what? We're well coached, and we've got some good players.
That's exactly right. When your 3 losses, I believe, are Friendship, Huntington, and trying to think of the third school they lost to. But physical football teams, really good tradition with those football teams, and so. I've got some good friends at Columbia Academy. I've Pernell Knox, the athletic director there, was our trainer in college at Freed Hardeman when I was playing baseball. Jarrett Jones is the head men's basketball coach there, 2 of my best friends in the world. And so it'd be good to go back and see them and talk to them. And they don't have anything to do with football, so we can have a good time before the game, all that stuff. So, this is a good this is a game that should be played. Two schools that know each other well, that have the Freed Hardeman connections and all those things. It'll be a great night of football. Hopefully not too rainy. I know they're forecasting it, but
only a 55% chance.
Yeah.
That's not that bad. I lived in Mount Pleasant in Columbia for a few years while I was troubleshooting for the education department, and it's not. 55% doesn't mean it's always going to rain.
That's right. Well, the thing to go by, though, Coach, is there was no rain last year. Then all of a sudden,
it
was the most rain I've ever seen. So
that was some of the worst lightning.
Let's count on it being rain.
Yeah, and if it is, we'll play.
That's
we'll
exactly
do fine.
right.
They were once Columbia Military Academy, and it's a big change. And, of course, we weren't a school. But in 1987, the fathers of the school chose to start football, and it's been great ever since then. Brian, they can get tickets online through what do they call that thing? GoFan. You can get them live there. It's going to cost you $10 no matter which way you do it.
That's right.
And come and support us. We do have a surprise. I don't know if I need to tell. Yes, we're going to do the game because we got a couple of texts about it'll be more like a radio broadcast on Friday night, but I got a feeling that you may be able to see the game without paying the National Federation. It may not happen that night, but it will happen very quickly. And tomorrow we go to the TSSAA's regional meetings. There are a lot of rules to be passed on, and we'll be there to vote. I won't be voting, but I'll be observing. Coach Darby will be there representing the school. And some other good things I got to mention before time runs out. Paul Schultze of Worthy Road Studios is getting the Region 7 Contributor of the Year award. He loves doing Jackson Christian football, baseball, basketball, softball. They do soccer, and I believe we added volleyball this year. And y'all congratulate Paul, and who knows, there may be some other things good for the school come out of that meeting too.
That's right.
Brian, final statement. We got about a minute.
Coach, we say it every week, and it sounds cliche, but you have another opportunity to go win a football game, and this would put us into another semifinal game. We know the task at hand. We know it's going to be a tough game. They have a great coaching staff. They have great players, big line, all those things. We're excited to be here. We would love for we know it's a 2-hour trip, but love for those Jackson Christian folks to be there, like they have been all year. Hearing those fans and those students cheering for those guys, it lifts them up, and it'll be a team effort. If we're able to pull out a win Friday night, and we would love to see as many of our students and our fans and community there in Columbia. And I have no doubt that our fans will show up and be there and be loud for us.
Absolutely, and I want to thank all the people that text us on the Facebook page, and this, of course, will be archived on Worthy Road Studios YouTube page. You can go back to the school page and watch it again. And apologize a little bit for the sound, but that's nobody here's fault. Sometimes things like that happen, and it was great. And normally I know I call a lot of your names out and read that, but we just couldn't do it tonight because it's important to hear these young men and the coaches. This is a copyright broadcast. Any reproduction, further use of this contest without the express written consent of Worthy Road Studios is prohibited. I'm going to say thanks for your time this time. Till next time, I will see you Friday night at Columbia Academy for Eagle football.
The BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios. With over 750,000 views in 2022, we are where you need to advertise. Please subscribe to our Worthy Road Studios YouTube channel and join the other 4,000 subscribers watching local sports.
The Jackson Rockabillys, Union and Bethel Universities, USJ, TCA, JCS, and Peabody.
Our multi-camera broadcasts include slow motion instant replay, on-screen scoreboard and graphics, and professional announcers.
Thanks to the sponsors who make it all possible. BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios, the premier sports broadcast network in West Tennessee.